right, well, good morning, everybody. It's so nice to see some familiar faces today, but at the same point in time, some new faces. This is going to be an exciting day. I think it's already been a great morning. Would you agree? Yeah. What I really wanted to talk about today, and on the behalf of myself and the rest of the store director group today, is what does it take to become part of one of our market format stores? What does it look like, and what is that conversation all about? So when I think about that, the first thing I think about is how do you connect? I go back 4 years ago when we opened Woodward Corner Market in Royal Oak back in 2019. And the four walls weren't built. I didn't have any customers. So for about a good 4 months, I had an opportunity to get out into the community, get out into the field, and meet new businesses, old businesses, get into some of our competitors, and see these local vendors that we wanted to, myself and my team, to be part of Woodward Corner Market. And it was awesome. Why was it awesome? Because I had that opportunity to sit down and meet and talk and really take that true time. Well, here I am now, 4 years later, and the store's open to our customers, and we have a daily operation. We're busy. So what does it look like now for us and for you if you're interested in being part of one of our stores? My best advice and feedback would be set up some time, because you, each and every one of you, take time to meet with us and invest in us. We want to do the same. We want the same, and we want to invest time in you. So whether it's sending an email or a phone call or dropping off a business card and a sample, which we love samples, and setting up a 30-minute to hour window we can put on the calendar so we can sit down, whether it's in our office or coffee shop or in your business, and we can have a true, authentic discussion. The last thing I want to see is for you to come in, drop off your card, and it be lost and forgotten. You are all very important to us, and so we want to make sure that we take that time and have that authentic discussion. So that's my advice. Let's sit down, let's meet for 30 minutes, let's meet for an hour, and let's have a great discussion.
So who am I? John Steiner. I am the lead marketing manager for Meijer's Market Format stores, and I'm here today to talk about marketing, or as Alan called it earlier, the fun stuff. Now, marketing is confusing, and it can be complex, and it's changing all the time. If you are willing to grow and to learn and to wear a lot of hats, then Alan's right, and marketing can be a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, the definition of marketing is, no, I'm just kidding. I promise I won't be that boring. A better question anyway is, what is the power of marketing? Marketing engages customers. It increases sales. It raises awareness. It creates ambassadors for your brand. It generates excitement. It enables strategic vision. Marketing unlocks your brand's potential. Now, all of you in this room care deeply about your product. You care about your customers. You care about quality. You care about supply chain. You care about all of these things. You have to care about all these things. So how can you care also about marketing? And the answer is because you have to. If you want to grow your product, if you want to grow your brand, you have to care about marketing. Now, here's your day, right? You've got all these different things you have to do. And then look at marketing. It's messy and confusing. And that thing, it's not even a circle. And it's trying to get into your day and mess it up, but you have to let it be there, right? It has to all work together. So, how do we do that? We start small with these small brands, right? Everybody's got to start somewhere. Every brand starts somewhere. So everybody knows these brands, right? But do you know the story behind these brands? Nike started out as a little niche running store, now is a global leader in apparel and athletics. Apple took the nerdiest of devices and made it cool and sexy. How'd they do that? Through marketing. Pizza Hut, oldest pizza chain in America. Did you guys know that? No? They took a little-known foreign food and made it into an American staple through marketing. So, how do you make your brand a success story? Through marketing. And we're going to do it by starting with the basics. Your name, your logo, your brand, and your channels.
So when I started the company, I sent an email to Natalie this is a very nice story, at Woodward Corner Market. She had not opened up the store yet, and I pitched to her. And I was like, oh, I'm sure she's going to love my products. And she did. And I was like, great, I'm going to get in. I didn't. I didn't get in. So they had the grand opening. I didn't get into Woodward Corner Market, but I got valuable advice, which was, your product's delicious. I like it. I'd eat it. But your packaging isn't where it needs to be. I was printing on my home computer, which doesn't work very well. And, I didn't have a seal. I had a 7-day shelf life. And so Natalie challenged me instead of saying just no. She challenged me. She said, go out there, fix the things that you need to fix, and then come back and see me. So I did that. I started printing my labels professionally done, still not the best. We've gotten to that point. Professional labels, I increased my shelf life. I got into stores around her, showed her that I could do it, and then she said yes. So that was really cool. So thank you. Yeah. So just because a store tells you no doesn't mean it has to be a no forever. Sometimes a no is just not right now. And so that's where we were. So that was about in early 2020. So COVID had already happened. And so we went from, I was distributing myself to the stores. We started off in a small church kitchen in Birmingham. I would put hummus in the back of my truck and deliver from store to store, like a lot of us up here did, until I broke my windshield twice in 364 days. And my husband was like, that's enough. Find a distributor. And so I did. I found a distributor. I currently work still with Carmela Foods, which I love. Everybody knows I love Carmela Foods if you know me. They're a great local distributor. They have great presence in all the local format stores. And so that was a nice load off my shoulders. My windshield was happy. My husband was happy. Mental, everything, all that good stuff is very important. And so we continued to hustle. We went to I went to Grand Rapids and did demos. And I have 3 kids at home, and I have a husband who has a busy job. And so trying to balance all of that was really, really important for me. But I never faltered on the relationships that we had to have with the stores. And so everybody from people in receiving, know their names, say hi to them, figure out who are their kids and like what's up with them. It's building that relationship with your buyer, knowing when to escalate things up to Natalie's level or Marcus's level or Mitch's level or anybody's level, and always working initially with your buyer who is in your category and in your department. Even though we're in Meijer, we still keep an eye on our inventory all the time, and you have to do that. Just because you're in the store, it means nothing. Easy in, easy out, guys, honest to God. And it's once you're out, good luck getting back in, because it's not easy. You'll have to sell your soul. And so keep an eye on your inventory, and you don't need to call the store and ask them, how's my inventory doing? No, get a shopping cart, buy your groceries, and check your inventory. It's very, very easy. I am at Meijer all the time. I buy Yasmin Bakery bread in there all the time. I'm always like, oh, the bread's in. So I do that with all my stores, making sure that everything is where it needs to be.
When you're in front of that demo table, I understand a lot of people go through things. I would say please make sure you leave that at the door, because what you don't realize is perspective. Perspective is that the customer who's walking through the door might be going through something just as much as you, if not more. So if you're standing there demoing the product, hi ma'am, how you doing? They don't give you the time of day today. There's no need of getting upset about that person saying a sly remark and an attitude, because what they may not do today, they may do the next time. Because if they see you consistently in the store, they will then say, you know what, I didn't give her a try last time, or maybe I'm not thinking, and I got a lot on my head, or I got to hurry up and get the kids. I got a grocery store list, let me get in and get out. I don't have time to try it, but maybe the next time, or the next time they see it, they're able to do it, because they may not understand what the product is, but everybody gravitates to positive energy. So if you're sitting there and you're demoing, and you're still the same person, and you are as consistent as your product, and when I say as consistent as your product, please make sure you're trying your product before you hand it to somebody else. Please. I've had people that I'll come up to, and literally I'm the first person of the day. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Great, try this. And I'm like, all right, I'll try it, and it's cold. Why is it cold? I just got here. I know you just got here. This should be hot. But she would have known that if she would have stirred, done something else to be able to help themselves. But first impression is everything. First impression is everything based off taste, but also how you look and how you feel. So again, let's go back a little bit. You're walking in, hi, how are you? Whatever your pitch is, you're trying to talk to them. They feel you radiate that energy. They're like, man, I don't know what this is, but I like this person. I really want to go further with this person. You know what? I met a good person today, and they're going to tell 3 to 4 to 5 people. But the flip side of that is if they meet somebody who is terrible, they're going to tell 20 people, and they're going to put you online, and they're going to put you and write a Reddit review. They're going to put a nice, well-written email and bash you. Like it's a thing. So make sure that you are being your best self in these demos, because it's not just how good the product is, it is who you are. They are buying a piece of you, they want to believe in you, and they want to be supporters of what you're trying to do so you can take it to the next level, right? Everybody hear me when I say that? So please understand, demoing is just as important as having the product there as it is with you being present with where it is. And a lot of times what I find with people who demo in our store are they just can't get right because they let outside things mess them up. So if you're present where your feet are, if you are where your feet are and you are here. So for the next 3 hours, I'm demoing. So guess what? I'm at Rivertown Market from 12 to 3, and I'm here. Everything else can wait. Once I get out of this, we can get back. That's what I mean by compartmentalization. Take that hat off, put this hat on. If you're a mom, if you're a father, your kids got some stuff going on, you got school, that's fine. Everybody has that. But for a quick second, for 3 hours, when you're demoing this store, be your best self. Do the best thing that you can do to help sell your product because you want continuous success. A lot of things that people talk about when we demo, we sell out. The next day I'm calling somebody, I'm like, hey, can you bring in more product? And they're like, what do you mean? I sold it all yesterday. And I'm like, no, well, now we got the next day. What about today? It's Monday. And nobody does it, so then they don't come back until Thursday. You just missed out on 3 days of sales. You were hot. If you're hot in these streets, be hot in these streets. Like, go sell the products. If you're not gonna do it, it means nothing. Attitude is everything, and I'm glad Natalie talked about it on the communication piece. We've had people that are sometimes in our stores. I led this conversation, if you recall in the welcome, where I said, some of you are already asking to go to super centers, you're not even here. People are so ready to expand, they don't think about what it takes to nurture their relationships. Life is all about relationships. If you can make positive impact in relationships and continue to grow, and don't forget about your original customer, you will win. The problem that we have is some people grow, and they grow a little too fast or a little too big, and then they forget that we are the customer still. It's not just the customer that purchases, it's the people that you're selling it to. It's us. So if we're your customer, don't turn your back on your customer. We have people that put stuff up in stores. We've had a relationship with them for 2 or 3 years. That's fantastic. What happens after the 2 or 3 years? They get a little big, they get, chest poked out a little bit. I made $600. Like, cool. So, but then what happens is we try to do these relationships and we try to go further, and then they forget about it and they're like, well, I'm all over the place. That doesn't mean that this store doesn't matter. If your immediate excuse is, well, I'm here and I'm there and I was on TikTok and they bought my stuff at the Eastern Market, that's great. I'm glad that you had that success. But what is sustained success? How do you make that more scalable and more consistent? You have to be ready to blow up. People want to blow up so bad, but it's not just about winning in that moment. You want to win long term. You could have won yesterday. That no longer matters because it was yesterday. What are you doing today to make an impact in your own business as well as impact our stores? That way we create partnerships that we want to have long lasting. And as Rob eloquently put it, have partners for the long haul. Our goal is to never have you guys for a little bit. Our goal is to have these relationships and build you and help you, catapult you, give you a little lift up to get to the next level, which leads me into my last thing. Please don't think that you are so big that we cannot kick you out. Younger in my management career, I used to have to hype myself up to fire people. I'd be like, yeah, get angry, drink some coffee. They're like, yeah. Then I realized you don't really have to do that. The same way you can hire somebody with a smile on your face, you can do it because at the point of exit, we have already had conversation. We already know what this is. And now it is time to move on. The same thing can be said with vendor partnership. And what I mean by that is we give people ample opportunity to respond to emails, to return phone calls. But if I have to find you to sell your product, that just tells me you're not really that interested. I should not have to find you. You should not have to ask me, what are my sales? That makes me feel like you are not invested in your own product. The wonderful VendorNet system, sorry, Alan, the wonderful VendorNet system will tell you. And if you need to navigate that, we have inventory managers that will teach you. We have plenty of guys to be able to help you guys. But the purpose is to know what you're selling and know how you're doing in business, but also coming into stores for a reason. People come into my store and they say, I want to sell my products in Rivertown Market. My first question is usually why. And that's when I get the. They just want to sell their product in Meijer. It's not about taking a quick selfie inside of a store to say that my mom made it, I'm in Meijer. You can lose it quickly just as fast as you got it. So it's the relationships that you build. It's the people, how you treat them when you walk in the building, from the greeter at the door to the utility guy who's in the restroom, the person in produce, even though your product is somewhere else, it's being friendly, it's being nice, it's being genuine, and it's helping us because Market Format is based on doing good business with good people every day. So if we can help the good people win, we will. There's enough people in the world who are winning. We want to help these people get to the next level, who are really making a difference in the community, who really are men and women of their word, and who are trying to take it to the next level so we can get there. All right, everybody with me?
So I grew up going to Eastland, but my grandmother was anti-malls. So I remember learning about supplier procurement and supplier diversity walking the Avenue of Fashion on Livernois. And I remember that my grandmother was intentional about sourcing from other small Black, Indigenous, people of color-owned businesses. So I never knew that those years that I spent with my grandparents learning the underbelly of business, that would show up as fruit in my own life. So that's the story of the roots that give me wings. And so when Marcus asked me to come today, I was like, yeah, but let my mom know what time, because she's going to try to see if I come by the house, because all of my family still lives here, but me and my family. And so I'm super excited to have this conversation with fellow dreamers, because you, like me, you're here today because you are positioning the passion of your heart. You are in the midst of building what you dream. And I know what it is like. My business, I am not in food and beverage, and I have to tell you all, when I walked in, did somebody make collard greens? Because that's what I feel like I smell. And I was like, ooh, who is it? I am not in the food and beverage industry. I'm on the gifts and stationery side of business. We make inspirational products that invest in, we care for your soul. So while the folks that made red velvet cake, I heard there's red velvet in the building, and the folks that made collard greens care for the state of our physical bodies, I do the work to care for the state of your soul. Who you are behind the veil and under the hood, in your heart and in your mind. Because you all know as entrepreneurs, your headspace matters, right? And so when Marcus asked me to come today, this matters because I started my business in the basement of my home. And I believe that great ideas incubate from dreamers who are willing to move their idea from ideation to implementation and to evolution. And so as I look across this room, all of us in this room, you're in some space of moving your idea, your dream, that thing that you just can't shake, from ideation to implementation or to elevation. And so my assignment this morning is to share 3 strategies, no matter if you're in food and beverage, if you're in gifts, if you're in apparel, if you're in beauty, if you're in health, there's room for all of us. That the entrepreneurial ecosystem needs what is incubating on the inside of you. And so my assignment is to share 3 strategies to help you as you are in constant ideation mode about your business. So here's what I know. Folks remember 10% of what they read, 20% of what they hear, and 80% of what they see. So I have brought a lot of show and tell. Y'all remember show and tell from school? We're going to kick it a little old school and do a little bit of show and tell. And anything that you see that inspires you or activates fresh perspective in you, feel free to use your cell phone and take a photo. I'm sharing it with you because I believe that one of the best gifts a person can give you is the benefit of their wisdom without the pain. And there's a lot, this sweater is hiding y'all, but there's a lot of entrepreneurial battle scars up under this sweater. Of missteps and pivots and of things that I had to learn baptism by fire, because there's not a lot of representation of folks that look like me in the gifts and party space. So I've had to pioneer a lot of what I've had to learn. And so my assignment today is that what I share with you helps you go further, faster. That's my assignment.
I want to get into, one of the things I always introduce to business owners, what I think is very important, and big ups again to Shannon. She killed it, right? And she touched on one of the things that's near dear to my heart, which is purpose, okay? Now, I know we hear a lot about purpose, but purpose simply just means the reason by which something exists. What are you here for, right? And so if we can narrow that down and niche it down, why does your business exist? So I get a lot of business owners ask me, like, what does that have to do with me making money? Because y'all really want to make some money, right? Right? If you don't know why you exist and why your business exists, you don't know the customer that you need to reach, your target audience, we hear all that, right? Then somebody else is going to tell you why your business exists, all right? Somebody else is going to tell you, how many bakers I got in the house? Yeah, how many times have you heard, you should bake this and you should do this. Have you thought about adding this flavor? Come on, talk to me now. How many times a day do you get somebody say, you're a pistachio, and they doing a little egg rolls, and then you should put your cake in the egg roll. Now you got 50 products in Meijer, right? It's crazy. And so if you don't know why your business exists, if you don't know why you are here in Meijer's, and it was said earlier, you're going to just be on the shelves trying to serve everybody. And there's going to be the grand opening and the grand closing of your business. No, I'm serious. I want to be real with you. I mentor a lot of business owners, starting because I have a passion to help people. And that's one of the advice I give all the time. And I've seen many, some came through Capital City because I'm in Lansing, right? And they start and they say, oh, okay, you know what? I started with the one flavor, so I got 10 more flavors I'm going to do. I said, don't do it. Don't do it. Because now you're straining yourself. You're straining your financials. You're straining your time. If you're married, your wife is mad, your husband is mad, your dog is mad, everybody's mad at you, right? And so where do you start? You have to start with your purpose. I want everybody to write that down. Why does your business exist? Why does it exist? Why does it exist? And so when you can answer that and you discover and define the purpose of your business, that's the foundation, all right? So you hear a lot of talk about vision and mission, right? So let me make this real quick. Vision is simply the big picture, okay? If I say the big picture is to go to Hawaii, bam, that's the big picture. The mission is the vehicle by which you get there. How do you get to Hawaii? So I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a high I, for those of you who've ever taken the DIS assessment. I'm all over the place. I'm like, yo, let's go. We're going to Hawaii and we're gonna get there. And my wife was like, yeah, but how are we gonna get there? We're gonna get there. Okay, how much money? Are we taking a plane? Are we flying to Detroit or driving to Detroit, or are we gonna take the plane out of Grand Rapids? The mission is how you get to the big picture. So before you take your product into the store, after you understand your purpose, what's the big picture? You wanna go into all the stores? All right, do you wanna go into just your local stores? Because I can tell you right now, if you wanna go into all 290 now, is it 70? Help me out. 263, right? That's a lot of time. That's a lot of money. Are you co-packing your product? What are you doing? So you have to know the big picture so that you can reverse engineer it. Simply break it down and find out. One of my mentors have taught me, you got to know the current cost of you and the future cost of you. So how much does it cost for you to run your business right now? Most of us, and let me start with me, I didn't know my numbers when I started off. How many, can you be honest and raise your hand? You don't know the numbers. Okay. If you don't know the numbers, the number will run you, right? And you're like, I ain't making no money. I got the money from Meijer, because you don't know the numbers, right? And so then the future cost of you, if you want to go into all those stores, how much is it going to cost? You're going to need some money to do that, because once you put your product into the store and you're making that product and producing it, guess what? You don't get paid that same day. Most times. That's the nature of the business, right? Unless you're doing direct sales. So have you counted up the cost of what it costs to be the boss on the top of the mountain, like Shannon talked about? Because you did well out the crib. So I was trapping out the crib for about 15 years. People was pulling up, and I was, okay, for those of you who don't understand trapping, I was selling cakes outside. Trapping. All right, holler at me later, and I can tell you what the trapping. I wasn't literally selling drugs out the house. Let me clarify that as well. All right. All right. And so I was doing that, but I didn't understand that it was going to take a whole set of different numbers to take it from. So I went from my crib to a commercial kitchen. And I was like, yo, I'm in a commercial kitchen now. And I did that thing. And after about a year,
I was able to go into Meijer's, and I'm like, yo, I'm at Meijer's now. And had I done with so here, it was said earlier, you cannot put your product on the shelves and just leave it there. Okay, so if I can give you a piece of advice, and I'm gonna take my glasses off for this, all right? If you are not willing to work harder than you do in your 9 to 5, those of you that have 9 to 5s, right now, think about it. Talk to your therapist, talk to some friends, put it on pause. Because it takes a special type of person, and can I say a special type of crazy, not to be offensive, to be the person baking the cakes, to be the person topping the cakes, to be the person cleaning, sanitizing, washing all the dishes of the 200 cakes that just went out, to be the person taking the orders from Capital City, to be the person marketing on social media, to be the person that's actually delivering the orders to all 4 stores and then 5 stores and then 10 stores. You have to understand that ain't nobody gonna do it for you. I tell my students all the time, right, when I go into the high schools, nobody coming to save you.
What if your story isn't interesting? Right? We said before, your brand is your story, but what if you don't have an interesting story? I think that's where a brand comes in. Like that's literally what a brand is for. So who
And it's
here
not
is-
true.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's not true, but it's also where a brand comes in, right? Like, think about anyone familiar with Liquid Death? It's literally just sparkling water, but it has a really cool brand, and so people love it. Okay, sorry. Take it over, Emily.
And I think that's the key, again, that outside perspective. Maybe you don't think you're interesting right now, but once you sit down with someone, they can tell your story back to you in a way you've never heard or thought about before. I think that's one of my favorite things when we do copywriting for websites, is sitting down with a client or a food business partner, them sharing their story, us writing something up, and then crying because it's this is amazing. Who are these people? That's me. That's my story. And that goes across all platforms. So I would encourage you to sit down with someone, have them tell it back to you because you'll see it in a different way.
And just don't listen to that internal voice telling you that's not real, right? That's your imposter syndrome telling you that your story is not interesting. It's not the actual case, because the fact that you're here, the fact that you're an entrepreneur, that is an act of bravery, and that is part of your story. So you need to embrace that, and someone can make it beautiful for you.
That's an excellent place to end it. Round of applause for everybody here. Thank you very much. And thanks to our guests for coming today. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. I think we're set.
Thanks, John.